In this episode, we're installing a Street Series Yoshimura exhaust on Noah's.
Oh.
Honda Navi. Oh yeah.
This stock exhaust on here, it's like you're driving a lawnmower down the street. It's not loud enough for people to hear you on the road, and it just looks a mess. I mean, look at all of this extra nonsense on here that you don't need.
It probably weighs about 16 times more than it needs to.
All right, so before we get started, we're gonna use this draggy to do a couple of runs back and forth with the Navi. And this thing's accurate within 1/8 of a second, so we'll really be able to tell the difference of the performance that the exhaust makes. And right now, my Navi just has these 12-gram rollers and this pair valve block-off plate. This is super essential if you're installing an exhaust.
This is a block-off plate. If you notice, let's go over there really quick. You got your kickstart cover. So you know already has this installed on this bike, so if you look back there, see that little plate? It says Pro Build on it. There was a hose that came out of that and then went right back around here. If you look up, it's really dark in there, but if you look up, see that little nipple right there? That's where that hose used to plug in. These little pair block-off plates are a necessity because what it does is it introduces unburned gases back into the exhaust, and you'll get a wicked backfire. So you think you're trying to tune your bike and it's just backfiring and it's giving you a false lean condition, which should never happen. All right, we're gonna do a draggy run. Stock exhaust. The only performance modification this has is 12-gram Ravino rollers. So we'll just we'll do one before and we'll do one after. Of course, we're going to sound a lot better, but what will it do for performance? This isn't going to be a top speed run, just a acceleration run. So I expect the new exhaust to be more snappy, but here we go. Went up to that rock. We'll do the same pull with the new exhaust. Red Loctite, you need this so that your bolts don't fall out while you're riding with the vibration. You got the Thor hammer, not a necessity, but you might need it. Ratchet, short extension, wobble socket that's very nice. I would say maybe it's needed. I would say it's needed. Wobble socket's needed, the short one at least. Long one, not completely needed, but you don't want an extension, that's for sure. Then we got our, was that an 8mm and a 6mm Allen. They don't need to be extended like this. This is just what we use. Little screwdriver. And this actually came with the pipe. This is a spring puller for the exhaust. We got our 17, 14, 10mm socket, 10mm wrench, 12mm, and 14mm. We did use an impact. That's not a necessity. We also used the big guns, which definitely not a necessity. Once you pull your Yoshimura exhaust out of this box, this beautiful freaking box, this is what's inside. You got the fully carbon fiber Yoshimura exhaust. Really, really sweet stuff. This is what I like. This is like lightweight aluminum, but strong, of course. It's all reinforced. You got the small bore life lasered on there, which is cool. And I don't know if you know the history of like exhausts for the Navi. If you read any of the forums, this pipe cracks, that pipe cracks, they all crack, this, that. This is like almost comical. Look at this gusset that they have. It's not gonna crack. Notice how it's like a silver color there. This is in the pack. It says it will change after about 15 minutes of riding. So notice that, that is one thing. Then you've got all of your brackets. You even got a spring puller. Got the spacers, bushings, everything you need to install, and a sticker pack. All right, let's put this thing on, see what it sounds like. Okay, clunky exhaust coming off. You got your fender bolt, that's a 10mm. Hit it with an impact. I normally just use an impact to remove things, not to install things. Then we got our 14mm here. There's two of them. I'm actually not going to loosen them all the way. Just gonna leave them kind of in. Zip it in just a little bit. Oh, it has one held down at the bottom. The reason why I leave that in there is so that when I unbolt up underneath here, it's kind of being held up. So There's that. And then back here, very, very hard to see, there's two 10mm nuts. I'm gonna try to do it without the extension, and nope, that's not gonna work. I came from the other side here, but let me try to get there it is.
Can you see it?
Yep, he's gonna hit that.
All right.
Okay, that one's off, and then there's one behind it, which I'm not gonna be able to get, but you can imagine. Okay, 14mm. I just have this last one that's barely held on. I'm gonna give this a little wiggle. It'll come off at the header first, and then come straight out. Notice I have this off. We didn't forget that.
Look at how heavy this damn thing is. Check this out. Let's weigh this real quick.
11, let's call it, let's round down, 11 pounds.
I'm still holding it up a little bit. Yeah, so unnecessary.
Put that sucker on there, let's see this. A half-ass stack, it's
Half-ass stack.
Well, I seen it 4 pounds earlier. I think it's more like 4, yeah, because it's leaning off the side. Let's call it, we'll call it 4 pounds.
I mean, a third of the weight, there's no question.
That's crazy.
Come on, you could do like some presses with this.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Now we just need to pull that gasket off of there. The exhaust gasket, you don't really need a new one. That just pulls off just like that. Slide this over. New one. We'll just kind of try to press it on there. There we go. Once we tighten it down, it'll go down. All right, first thing that's gonna go on is the header. Bring her on over. We're gonna need your two little acorn nuts, they call them. The only part I can't really show you is putting the two little exhaust studs over this because it's just a tight area, but you'll get it. And then once you get the exhaust studs through there, you want to start with your fingers if your fingers are small enough, or there's a little trick. Get your acorn nut in your 10mm with the extension just like that. Okay? And then when I grab it, I can go up underneath, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Don't let this guy fall off. Slide her in. Oh, hang on, rewind. This exhaust is very unique. I've never seen this done before. See this engine mount? That's a 17mm. On the other side's a 14mm. You notice this right here? When I put this on, it's gonna be held on with that. It's so awkward to me. But before I do anything else, I gotta pull that nut off the engine mount. Very, very odd. But it's really easy. So here it is. There on the other side of that is a 14mm. So I'm just gonna hold this just like that. And then on this other side, I'm just gonna hit it. We're not taking the engine mount off. We're just loosening that nut, taking it off. Oh, that thing's incredibly tight. So we can loosen it with a ratchet. There's a trick though. When bolts or nuts are that tight, let me show you the trick. The maraca.
He's got a hammer.
Give her a little. Ooh. Someone's got to hold it from the other side. Actually, in our case, I'm not going to do any of that, but that's what you would do if you didn't have a bigger impact. You'd hit that, but you got to make sure someone's holding it on the other side. But in our case, I'm going to pull the big guns out. Okay, just like that. That's all we need to do. We don't need to take the bolt out of the engine mount at all. If you notice, when I install this, real nice and easy. See that? Goes over just like that. See that? Okay, it's sitting just like that, and now the little extension trick. I can get up underneath there and screw this in easily. You always want to screw these in by hand. You don't want to hit anything with a impact or you'll strip the sucker. So I just got that started by hand. I'm going to do the other one. This one's definitely going to be harder. This is where this wobble head is great. You see how it's got a ball on the end, so it wobbles. So it's going to be the hardest part of the whole thing, especially if you have big old fat fingers. Okay, that's on, and I'm just going to, I never want to impact the crap out of them. I'm just going to get it kind of in there and started so that it's almost tightened, but not quite. Okay, you heard that? Do this other one. Okay, I'm going to leave that loose for right now. This is still kind of loose. We don't want to do any of that until we get the rest of this stuff on. But I'll put the little nut back on there. And you don't really need to use red Loctite because this is a locking nut. So we'll just put her there hand tight for now. Now let's move on to this. Small bore life exhaust hanger. Sweet, love it. We've got our hanger pieces, but this bushing has to go in that hole. There's a rubber bushing. These are never easy, but the best way to do it is just give it a little bend like that, and then just kind of try to work it, but with a screwdriver is the best way. You just have to go little by little so you don't end up poking a hole in the rubber. Okay, got her. Just have this little piece, just like that. Okay, on the front of it is this, oh, sorry, other way around. On the front of it, this piece has got a spacer built in, see it, one's thin, one's thick. The front of it's gonna get that one, and on the back, that one. There we go. Red Loctite, you can probably use blue. I'm gonna use red in this situation. We've got these two matching, what is it? 8mm Allens, okay? And then they come with these really cool little collars. Look at that. You just slide it through like that. Same thing with the other one. And then you're gonna hit it with some Loctite. Do this so that they don't vibrate loose later. Red's a little bit of an overkill. We have blue, but I always just use red. Again, this is normally how I do it. Just get her all lined up. Get it started. Grab your other one. Again, I do everything by hand. Do you notice the trend? Everything on this exhaust is loose. None of the bolts have been cranked down. This is mostly why exhausts crack, is because people crank down, you know, the header bolt and then crank this down, and there's so much tension and vibration that then you have a problem later. All right, now for the fun part. Well, actually, I think the next thing we need to do is put the fender bracket on so this thing's not just shaking like a leaf. A lot of guys don't run a fender, but if you do, we're gonna install that. Okay, this little guy, this is the longer one with the little collar, and then you have a nut. This is just gonna be a halfway thing, so all I'm gonna do is just slide it on there like this with the nut, just for now, just for a second, to hold it there. Okay, just hanging there. So now we're gonna grab our old fender 10mm bolt. That slides through here, just like this. Notice down here, this is going to the bottom, like that. Then we have the supplied washer, there, and a nut. Again, everything is just getting hand tight right now. So that, when we tighten this all down, you know, this will hold the fender, but we still need to attach the muffler to this, so that's why I have it loose. Next, we're gonna put the muffler on. This is the fun part. You wanna make sure you don't have greasy fingerprints all over this. If you do, you wanna make sure that you clean them all off with like some alcohol. Otherwise, you're gonna have fingerprints when it gets hot. But man, I can't get over how freaking great this design is, how well built it is. Really, really good stuff. But I'm gonna unscrew this. This is gonna slide on just like that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Damn. So we're just gonna get it on far enough to get that bolt in. Notice I'm not putting the spring on yet. I'm just kind of lining this up. So if you put the spring on first, you're gonna have problems. Little red Loctite, okay? Let's try to slide this through here. This is why everything needs to be loose. Okay, on the back side, I'm putting this hanger for the fender on the back side. See how I'm doing this? There we go. Notice on the back here, there's not much, see how much thread there is right there? Not much, so, but there's a rubber bushing in there, so when we start tightening it down, that'll be good. So this is the first bolt that I'm gonna crank down tight. Okay, 12mm nut back here with the red Loctite. I'll just hold that there. 6mm Allen here. Oh, flip around. I'm gonna crank this all the way down, just nice and snug. You don't wanna go really freaking tight because there is that rubber bushing back there and you don't wanna smash it. But just make sure you have that Loctite on there so it doesn't come loose. Okay, while I'm at it, I'm gonna tighten this down. Okay, 10mm there, 10mm on the bottom. I'm just gonna hit it with an impact slightly. Nice and snug. Again, rubber bushing there, you don't wanna get it super freaking tight. just tight enough, but make sure you have that red Loctite on there. Okay, cranking these suckers down, nice and snug. Okay, look how good that looks. Look at all these finishing washers.
Oh, it looks so much better. Cleans up the whole thing.
So notice I still haven't tightened this or up underneath there yet. So I'm gonna go ahead actually and do that. Long extension, 10mm wobble, ratchet. This is one where you're not gonna be able to see very well, but it's very important to go a little bit each bolt. You don't wanna crank one down more than the other, because what it's doing is it's going a little bit each time. You'll bind it up if you crank one side down too early. Just take your time, go back and forth. Remember, this is all loose, everything's loose here. Almost. I don't think that gasket was ever squished down right from Honda. I felt it squishing. You'll feel it squish down. It almost feels like you're stripping it, and then finally it gets tight. Okay, that's good. Now we got this guy. That's our 17mm. And we got our 14 on the other side. So I'm just gonna use my 14mm, hold it on the other side. And then crank. This is so weird that they have the exhaust attached to this engine mount, but they know what's up.
I mean, hey, it works.
See this little trick? 14mm jammed up against here, so I don't have to try to hold it. It's jammed up against the kickstand. All right, service manual if you want to figure out the torque settings, but I just say get nice and snug. Okay, last piece of the puzzle. Look at that. Oh, we got to get it right. Yoshi logo, he's got to get it right. You don't want to go that way. Okay? Sweet. You know what? Oh, and it comes with the sweet spring puller. So you hook it up like that, so you don't lose a tooth. Give it a little yank. Put it on there. Nice. Bam! Look at that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at that, huh?
Oh yeah. I killed my battery, so we're gonna have to do it.
You left it on all night.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
Never do it again. You do it with his hand. The guy's a beast.
Apparently not.
Is the key on?
Oh, you know what's really important when you start your bike is to put the key on.
Oh, shit. Oh yeah. Oh damn. Let's get it off the lift and see.
Dude. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Nice. Got the Yoshi on there, 12-gram rollers is all we have. We're at 5,700 feet in Denver, Colorado, where we lose 20% of our power, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see what this exhaust did before and after. This is after. 1, 2, 3. Little burble. We'll go to that rock. Keep it there. All right, so this is our 8th mile without the exhaust. We did 15.21 in the 8th mile. This is with the exhaust. 14.55 in the 8th mile. Sweet, so that's actually a pretty significant difference. Honestly, I wouldn't even care if it didn't even make a difference. The sound makes it that much more enjoyable.
All right, it is the next day. I was able to put maybe 20, 30 miles on the Navi yesterday. Man, it's so much more fun having that exhaust on there. Even though you're still not going very fast, just having that burble in your ears, I don't know, it's just so fun. It just changes the whole driving dynamic. I'd say you really feel the most on the top end. You know, once you hit 45 on those bikes, it's really hard to eke out that last little bit until you start to hit the rev limiter. But I had a lot of times yesterday where it's just feels smooth as butter all the way up until you hit that limiter. So top end, a lot different. Overall, super happy with it.
So this definitely made a difference for sure. One thing that I will say is like when you give it full throttle, it seems like it needs a larger pilot jet, because I had to actually die once I pulled the throttle all the way back, which is an easy swap, but we're gonna do a carburetor on this. Generally speaking, you don't really even need to do a rejet. And I'm just being super picky. It doesn't need to be rejetted, but I'm just nitpicking. If you give full throttle, it did bog, and that's not right. We need to get a larger pilot jet. So we'll do that when we get a bigger carburetor. We're just gonna swap the whole carburetor out because we got more air coming out. We want more air coming in. More in, more air out equals more performance. We're gonna have these on the website. So if you want one, head over there. I'll put the link down in the description. Appreciate you guys.